Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as IvyWinter. Thanks for joining me for another Wedding Wednesdays. Today I'm going to talk about a couple of different things. One is going to be engagement photos, and the other is going to be meeting with a florist and an officiant, which is two things that I've done in the past week. So let's just jump right into it. So this past Saturday, Peter and I had our engagement shoot, and there is some serious sirens happening outside right now. Welcome to New York. Instead of doing it with the photographer that we're going to have for the wedding, we did it with a friend of ours. His name is Phil Taylor, and he is a photographer. He is trying to break into doing it more professionally. He's done some weddings and other parties and stuff already, and he's been doing this as a hobby for 6 years, but now he's really trying to make it a career. And so as an engagement present, he offered us our shoot. And normally they say that you should go with the photographer that you're going to use on your wedding, because this is a way for you to get to know each other before the wedding. And I totally get that, and maybe we missed out on that a little bit, but this was also an opportunity to work with a really close friend of mine, to be able to give him some work for his portfolio, but also knowing that we already would have that comfort level with him, because I've been friends with him for 5 years now. So we already knew going in we would be super comfortable taking photos with him. So we did that on Saturday. His girlfriend was his assistant, which was super fun. And we met up on the High Line. If you don't know what the High Line is, in New York on the west side, they took an old, train tracks from when there used to be elevated subway lines in Manhattan, and they turned it into basically this super long walkable garden area. It goes all the way from 34th or so all the way down to Meatpacking District, down by where the Whitney Museum now is, pretty far downtown. We wanted to do it there because we wanted to embrace New York being, my hometown where he lives now, and we didn't want to do something too cliche like Central Park, especially because our wedding is actually going to take place 3 blocks from Central Park, and we're going to do our first look there. So we wanted to do something totally different, but that still felt urban in New York, and the High Line just seemed perfect. So it was a little nerve-wracking. Despite knowing Phil very well, that wasn't really the issue. It wasn't being nervous in front of the photographer because he was our friend, but it doesn't feel natural and normal when you're taking these shots and it's okay, now turn to each other and hug each other and give him a kiss on the cheek, and it feels really forced. And obviously these are things I would do with him in a day-to-day on a normal basis of wanting to show him affection, but when somebody's telling me to do this as a posed shoot, it's really, really weird. So that felt a little unnatural at first, and it took me a little time to get around to it. Sometimes when he would be taking breaks from shots, we would just be interacting more, and then he would be sneaking shots so that they would come out more natural, which I totally get. But it is definitely difficult to do all the cutesy stuff that you expect in an engagement shoot and make it feel natural. I just felt really uncomfortable for the first, I'd probably say half hour. We took about an hour and a half to shoot. And then eventually you get kind of used to it and you find what's comfortable, and we were joking around and goofing off and stuff, which also made for some really great photos. And then the other thing that was kind of awkward was being in New York City. You're just surrounded by people at all times, and the High Line is no different. It is a tourist attraction, but it's also a lot of locals go there, so it was packed, despite it being, by the way, freezing. Even though it was supposed to be 65 degrees, it did not reach 65 degrees, and it was rainy and windy, and so we were absolutely numb by the end of this shoot, and we had to pretend we weren't cold, but that's a whole other thing. But despite it being freezing, there were so many people walking on the High Line, and that was a little awkward too. It's these people are watching you right now, I don't know, taking these photos or whatever, and while a lot of people do take photos on the High Line, I see models all the time. I just see fashion bloggers and just like regular people taking professional photos, you know, it's still a little weird and there's like intention on you. And we kept having people who were like, congratulations, and like, you guys were so cute. And it was like really, really awkward. And then the people who like didn't know if they should like walk past the photo or not, and Phil was just like, just walk. Like, I have a DSLR that takes like multiple shots per second. Like, it's totally fine. It was just, the whole thing was a little awkward with so many people around us. So if that's something that like you don't think you could deal with, then definitely pick a quieter spot. I feel like in New York it's kind of hard to pick a quieter spot, because it's just the nature of the beast of like 9 million people living here. But yeah, that made for some like really awkward, funny moments. But in the end, they came out lovely. I'm really excited. We're going to be using the photos for our save the dates and for our website, and of course just for ourselves, you know, like we definitely want to get one printed out and like have it in the apartment and, you know, something to share with people. We can also send it to other people. So it's nice. I don't think by any means that engagement photos are a necessity. Like my friends last year, they didn't do them at all. You know, it's completely up to you as a couple if that's something that you want to do. And a lot of photographers do throw it into the package. Like my photographer had it as part of our package. The nice thing is, because we didn't use that 2 hours for an engagement shoot, they're giving us that 2 hours for the wedding. So if that's a possibility and you have someone to take your photos and you can get more hours, you know, at the wedding, then maybe do that. But like a lot of your photographers will have this as part of the package, or like it will be, you know, free with hiring them. So like you might as well capitalize on it. But by no means do you have to feel like you have to do it. Okay, so let's talk about vendors a little bit. So last week I got to meet with my potential florist. It is a florist that my best friend worked with at her wedding last year that I was in. So I really already liked the flowers, saw them in person, all of that, and got to go meet with them. I had no idea what to ask because I know nothing about flowers. I know I like them. That's about where all my knowledge of flowers ends. I like them, the end. So I walk in there and it smells amazing. Of course it does. And, you know, we sit down and I fill out this form about where's the wedding and how many bridesmaids and the colors and all that. And then she starts asking me like, but what kind of style do you want? More traditional or more wild? And what's your favorite kind of flowers? And like, do you just want to have like purple in this color, or can we add in other colors? And I was just like, I don't know. Like, you're the expert here. I don't know. Like, I just really don't know flowers. So I went in really open-minded, which I guess was good. And I kind of like let her know that like, I'm totally open to whatever you recommend. There are no flowers I dislike. There are no looks that I don't want to have. Like, just go with it. And I also came prepared with a Pinterest board, which my friend recommended that I do, just to get an idea of like what I actually wanted set up in the space. So, you know, we've agreed to, instead of an arch, we're going to be doing 2 bigger pieces on like 2 pedestals. And I don't think we're doing flowers for cocktail because it'll be more moving around, less tables. But we'll be doing candles along the staircase and like for the ceremony, you know, all that kind of stuff that I could like, I knew that I wanted, and I might not know exactly how I want it to look, but I knew that I wanted these things. So that was super helpful, and it was helpful for her, for me to be able to say like, oh yeah, here's like a photo of what I want. So it went well. It was a quick meeting. It was only like 25 minutes. And then she will be sending me a proposal this week. And then if we agree to it and it makes sense, it's in our budget, then the next meeting is more details and like an actual example arrangement, and all of that. So like, that's how a lot of this works, is like you either speak with a vendor on the phone or in person, and then they get an idea of what you want, and then they send you a proposal, and you look that over and you say, cool, this is great, this is what I want, or in my budget, wherever it is. Or you say, this isn't really going to work out for me, ready to look for a new vendor, whatever it might be. Because you haven't signed anything yet, you're not in any sort of agreement, and they're used to that, you know, like they're probably sending proposals out all the time. So don't ever feel like you have to stick with a vendor just because you've talked through and they've given you a proposal. Like, definitely be nitpicky because this is your day. So you want things to happen the way you want them to happen. Anyway, I'm excited to see what she sends over. But like I said, I feel like I wasn't much help or much guidance or anything. Honestly, I think flowers are just super expensive. Like, I kind of feel like they're necessary, but like, and I want live ones. Like, I thought about the whole like DIY fake flowers, but I do want live ones. It's just like, God, they're so expensive, and I don't know. And then on Monday of this week, I met with my officiant, who was the officiant also for my best friend's wedding last year. I'm just stealing all of her vendors, basically. Oh God, my hair is doing this weird. Got some fluffy hairs over here. So we met with the officiant, and that was another scenario I didn't know what to expect. We met with her for about an hour, and she was super great, like guiding us through what she needed for this first meeting. And again, it's like very high level, not all the detail in the world, but like as much as we could give and knew. So, you know, who is my maid of honor? Who's his best man? What's our relationship? What's our relationship like with our parents? You know, I did have to bring up that my mom passed away. And then there's the question of like, do you want that to be part of the ceremony? Do you want to honor your mother? And is it going to be a religious ceremony or not? It's not going to be a religious ceremony for us. By the way, we are not religious people. We grew up in two different Christian environments. I grew up Catholic, he grew up Protestant, but we both now consider ourselves atheist. So it will be a non-denominational ceremony, but you know, she has to know that and understand what we want, but also understand like, is our family still religious, and like, how can we make nods to that make them feel comfortable, and all of that. So you talk about that in a very big overview way. She lets us know like, hey, you need a song for the processional and for the bride and for the signing and for the recessional, and think about that. That's your homework. And you know, she's gonna send us a questionnaire to fill out about each other so she can like basically create the ceremony. You know, do we want to write our own vows or do the typical traditional vows? Like, all of that was the conversation, but it's super high level. It's not like, oh, I know exactly what songs I want and I know exactly what my vows are going to be. Like, she knows that we're not at that point, and it's still way early enough that we don't have to think about it yet. So, but yeah, it was a really good conversation. So if you are meeting with an officiant, be prepared to, you know, you gotta talk about things. You gotta talk about your relationship, how you met, what you're looking for in a ceremony, you know, all of that stuff. But thankfully, she is a doll. She's from Australia, so just like talking to somebody from Australia, I could just sit there and listen to their accent forever. So yeah, we've done a lot of stuff this week. And then this weekend, I am doing round 2 of wedding dress shopping. I am hoping I will find the one, whether it is one of the ones I tried on last time that I am going back to try on again, or if it's maybe one at Beholden, who knows. So I am crossing my fingers that I find the dress, because I don't really want to like make this a whole long thing. And we will also be printing out save the dates soon, now that we're getting these photos, and that's like a huge check mark, you know, off is sending out the save the dates. So lots going on, really exciting. It's so funny because I was all worried that like, oh, am I doing Wedding Wednesdays every week? Like, am I gonna have something to talk about every week? Yes. There's just so much going on. I guess also because we have a shorter engagement, there's literally stuff going on every week. So, yeah, that's what's going on in my world right now with wedding planning. I would love to know if you have any thoughts, experiences, questions, whatever, on florists, on officiants, on vendor meetings. I feel like they're so awkward and weird sometimes. And also, if you have done or are thinking about doing engagement photos, where did you have them done? And did you feel like they were weird and awkward, or were they fun, or I don't know. Just tell me all the things. You can let me know in the comments below. You can also tweet me at IvyWinterYT. If there, again, is a topic you want me to cover in future Wedding Wednesdays, please let me know. I will definitely make sure to cover it. And that's it. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it as always. Bye.